Hello YouTube, this is the Sim Basketball Operator bringing you an NBA 2K14 Association Mode, and this is just a brand new start with a brand new team. This will be with the Denver Nuggets as indicated by the thumbnail and by the title, and I decided to give up my Toronto Raptors Association Mode mainly because it's been quite a while since I last posted, and so we're just going to hop in with this Today Association, meaning that we're going to start as of when I created this, which was yesterday, February 8th, and let's get started. So the same settings pretty much as last time, 12-minute quarters, Hall of Fame, simulation, all of those tasks for the association mode will be set to manual, and as you can see I'm setting my rotation. Notice that I set JaVale McGee and Danilo Gallinari to bench warmer, and then Nate Robinson to sixth man, because Nate Robinson's played this year, he played 44 games, but as the sixth man of the Denver Nuggets. However, he did get injured, hurt his ACL. And then Gallinari and JaVale McGee, JaVale McGee's played 5 games, Gallinari not at all. And so since they are both pretty much out for the year, I lowered their ratings to like the 40-50 range, mainly because I wouldn't be able to use them and I would have to progress through the season like the real Denver Nuggets. Now as you can see by the playoff picture, as of this date, you have the Warriors, Suns, Mavericks all around the same record. Then a little bit behind them you have the Grizzlies at 26 and 22. We just got Marc Gasol back, but then Mike Conley went down. And then you have the Denver Nuggets, which is us at 500, 24 and 24, which is a solid record, but it's not good enough in the Western Conference. And so we have two options to take this team as I set the staff. We can either tank, kind of just give up on the season because there's just been too many injuries, or we can try to make a playoff push, which I think is still possible with this roster, and I have confidence in this roster's ability to make that playoff push. Now looking at a few prospects, this draft class was created by a guy named with the gamer tag VTCRB, and his player models are pretty good, but his ratings are a little bit high, so I'll be dialing them back a bit, mainly so that in a few years we won't have like 12 new superstars that were just created by this draft class, because the 2014 draft class doesn't look like it's all been hyped out to be. Now before I delve into more team details, I would like to give a shout out to PS3 Sports Gamer. He's a guy who reached out to me. He's also another guy who is still on current gen. However, I really like his Milwaukee Bucks Association, so I recommend you check that out. His link will be in the description. And then this beat was created by YoWiLLL. I decided to add this because I'm tired of the 2K beats, and it's pretty good. Recommend you check him out. His link will also be in the description. Now, as you can see, Andre Miller has decided it's time to move on, and in real life he's really pissed off as well. And the main reason how I did this was I went into edit player, made his player role a star, and then I just took it down from star to bench warmer, and then I did that multiple times so that he become heated. It's kind of a little exploit I have to simulate this, make this more real life like, and so now he's on the trading block. Now as you can see by stats, we are run by Ty Lawson, leading scorer, leading assist man. Then we have a few complementary pieces like Wilson Chandler, Randy Foye, and then we have some pretty good big men actually, however undersized, with Kenneth Faried and JJ Hickson. Both are really capable of being great rebounders. And then we have Timothy Mozgov, who I'm pretty impressed with, big man off the bench. Now I'm just fielding offers from Andre Miller. He's 37-year-old, tail end of his career. I lowered his rating to 71 because frankly he's not 76 overall, and this makes the pickings pretty slim. If I was to tank, I would just deal him off to a contender like say the Spurs, or someone who could use an improvement at a backup point guard role, and then try to get a first round pick out of. And I will deal him by the next video, so stay tuned for that. And then again, as the commenters and as the watchers of this video, I would like to hear your suggestions for who I should trade, because even though the trade deadline may not be as eventful as we like, just because I haven't had enough experience with this team to make any big decisions yet, but still leave those suggestions, because they'll be used in the offseason as we decide whether to dismantle the current core as it is with Ty Lawson, Gallinari, Chandler, McGee, Faried, or do we decide to build off that core and maybe add like a mid first round pick instead of like a top 5 pick. So this team has a lot of talent, and there's no denying that, and has a pretty good coach of the future in Brian Shaw. He's got a lot of experience with the Lakers and the Pacers and such, so this team can really head a lot of different directions. Now to discuss my personal preferences on this team. Ty Lawson is my favorite player. He's a quick point guard, ability to shoot, play pretty good defense for a guy who's pretty undersized. He's sub 6 feet. Second favorite player is Kenneth Fareed, the Manimal, very good energy player. Steal in that draft class, especially considering it was a very weak draft class. Coming out of Morehead State, very high energy player. Doesn't really give you that tall, lanky shot blocker. He's only 6'7". Nor does he give you a lot of offense, but he's capable of making that impact play, grabbing rebounds, putting them back up, finishing off alley-oops, and so I really like what he brings to the table there. My third favorite player will be Danilo Gallinari. I've used him before in previous games, so I don't really have a concern of him coming back from that injury, and I think he can be a really good player, a very good secondary scorer, and perhaps be developed into a primary scorer because of his ability to create and also move off screens, spot up, and just score in a multitude of ways. And then there's other players that I enjoy playing with, such as Jordan Hamilton. He's a guy out of Texas, 6'7". I believe he's entering his third season, and he's not too highly rated, and nor is his potential. However, he has the potential to become that sixth man and complement a guy like Danilo Gallinari. The shooting guards, Evan Fournier, Randy Foye, are pretty good shooters. They're actually very good shooters and have easy releases. However, both of them really struggle in the defensive end. And then obviously I already told you that I'm looking to deal Andre Miller, and so that kind of squares out the perimeter. Nate Robinson is a player option. I'm not sure if he's going to accept it or not, so we'll see about that. Maybe he'll accept it due to his injury. However, one thing I think is that Nate Robinson and Ty Lawson are kind of liabilities because both, while very talented on the offensive end, both don't have the size to kind of play next to each other, which I find pretty concerning, which may be a reason why I'd trade away Nate Robinson. Now, big men wise, Anthony Randolph, Darrell Arthur are pretty expendable. They could be traded. And then Timothy Mozgov is also expendable. However, he's a pretty good backup center. And then one of J.J. Hickson and Kenneth Fareed I plan on moving just because they're both undersized. Now in the next video, you'll see me play against the Detroit Pistons. Pretty good game, pretty exciting against a team that's also kind of trying to find its identity. Then you'll see a trade deadline video. And after that, we'll progress through the season and see if we make through the playoffs. And if not, simulate the playoffs and go to the off season. So this is a Sim Basketball Operator. Please check out those guys I mentioned earlier, YoWiLLL and PS3 Sports Gamer. And I'll see you guys all in the next video.